step by step, this is how I'd make $100,000 a year if I had to start again. So this is for someone who is looking to get started making an online business. You are looking to get started to build something like an e-commerce business. You want to make money online. Maybe you're a bit of an introvert, or you want to make some passive income, either to add additional income beyond your 9 to 5, or maybe you've just lost your job and you're looking to start something online. This video is going to be to help you get you set up with everything that you need to know, understanding the basics, the tools and the bits of software that you're going to need to get set up, rough costs. It's also going to show you exactly what you need to do and the mistakes you need to make sure that you avoid, so you can actually get the best road to making up to $100,000 in your first year online. And we're going to do all of this without any paid marketing. Now, this is probably where you are right now. You've either tried an online business before, or you've lost your job, or you're in a position where you want to start making money. You've kind of had like a high, a bit of success, then that's come crashing down, and you're kind of at this point here, a bit of a slump, and you're trying to work out how to get to here, which is when you're making a lot more income, you start to see that exponential growth. You're probably wondering why other people are seeing a lot more success than you are, why everyone else seems to be making more money than you are, and why nothing seems to be working for you. And I'm going to point out exactly why this is. And to get started, we just need to understand the basics of the business model that we're going to be teaching in this lesson. I hope you guys can see this, but basically what we have here is the e-commerce model. So we're going to be teaching you how to make money online through selling products. So whether you've got like an Etsy store, or you've got a product that you want to sell, selling it through e-commerce is the most known go-to model. It's the best solution for you that avoids anything like sales or high ticket sales or building funnels or anything like that. This is the most basic, easy way to get set up. For this, we're going to use one piece of software called Shopify, and this is how we can build a very basic e-commerce website. So the way it works is we've got one single product page, and you've obviously interacted with e-commerce pages before, so you'll understand the principles of how this works. But now we're looking at this from a business owner, someone who wants to make money by owning one of these e-commerce stores. And if this seems complicated, don't worry, I'll make it sound very, very easy by the end of this video. So first of all, we have our product page. This is where we are selling the product. I'm going to go through exactly how you sell the products, how you increase your conversion rates and make sure people buy in a minute. But we have typically like an image down here. We'll have a title. This will be like the buy now button that you click when you go and purchase. You've got all the product information beneath that. That will then take you to a cart or a checkout sequence where basically someone will then decide if they're going to purchase your product or not. They'll put in their card details, then they will purchase. And then here we've got like the thank you page. This is where you collect the revenue. This is when you start to make money. But the way that you need to imagine this is like a funnel. And the biggest mistake people make when they're getting started is expecting everybody who lands on their website to purchase, or a very, very high percentage of people who land on their product page to actually purchase their product, which is just not true. Okay, so to give you an idea, this is what we should be expecting. And I don't know if you can see this, but basically we're expecting for 100 clicks on our website for a very standard e-commerce store, 5 people should then add to cart, 1 person should purchase. So only 1% of the people who land on your website will be purchasing your product. So you can then do the maths on this and you can work out how much money you can expect to make per visitor to your website. So let's say, for example, you're selling a product for $50. That means for every 100 people who land on my website, I should be making $50 per order. I've drawn this diagram here, which you may have seen before, but essentially this is a basic marketing funnel. You've got your top of funnel, middle of funnel, and your bottom of funnel. Top of funnel is typically traffic that doesn't know you. So now we're talking about traffic, how you can start to make sales from your store. So top of funnel is traffic that doesn't know you. This is the most broadest of traffic. These are the 100 clicks to your website. These are the people who are literally just coming to your website to check out your product, who are maybe interested or maybe just curious. Middle of funnel are the people who are interested in your product and may potentially purchase. Maybe they've seen you before, maybe they've read about you, or they've seen some of your ads or some of your videos. These are the people who will typically add to cart. So if you create an audience of people on your website, the top of funnel will be the visitors. The middle of funnel will be the people who have actually added to cart, and the bottom of funnel is typically the people who have purchased already or are purchasing. So these are the highest quality, warmest people on your website. Now there's 2 ways to think about this. When we come to marketing, we are focusing on the top of funnel traffic, especially if we're trying to get as much traffic as possible. So I'm going to explain to you how you can get more traffic to your website and how you can convert that traffic into sales, because this is the most difficult part. This is the really complicated part that most people slip up on. Sorry about this jump cut, but there's a very important distinction that you need to understand between someone who's successful and someone who's unsuccessful. And that is the people who are successful sell what people need and what people want, and the people who are unsuccessful sell what you want to sell. So those are the sorts of people who have an idea idea for a product and they fall in love with their own product, and they don't do any market research into what people want to purchase, and they just sell it because they think if they like it, other people will. And the biggest example of this is people selling jewelry online. Jewelry is a very specific thing. It's a very specific product that lots of people will purchase, but it's very specific to their tastes. And just because it's something that you would buy or something that you would make or you enjoyed making doesn't mean that warrants anybody to purchase it. And the biggest problem that lots of people have when they're starting their businesses is they focus on something for too long. They focus on a product that it's going to take them forever to build, and they think because they've put thousands of hours into building the product, people should purchase it. And that's not necessarily the case. What you want to do is you want to focus on what people need and what people want. There's two ways to do this, and I'll explain this in sort of by going up to how we market the product. So there's two ways to start selling your products online. The first way is by starting with marketing first and then deciding on the product, or you decide on the product and then you add marketing to it. So typically what you would do is you'd have sort of organic content marketing. So we would create YouTube videos or TikTok videos like this, and you don't need to show your face. You can create any sort of content you want, but the point is you create some sort of content. That content will then drive traffic to your website, which will then drive sales for your product. The problem that you will have is a misalignment between the traffic that you're getting and the product that you're selling. So here you can see here I'm talking about AI and coding and ChatGPT and automations for my AI software, but then if I were to push that traffic to a website where products, for at home, nobody's going to purchase any of those products. So you need to make sure that you are aligned between the traffic that you're pushing and the product that you're selling. Then from that, you've got two options. You either decide on the product that you're selling, and then you add traffic to it. So you decide, for example, that I'm selling jewelry. So then what you do is you go out and you make traffic for that product, people who would be interested in that type of jewelry. And the best example of this would be if you created a piece of jewelry that wraps into or ties into an emotion or a feeling or a desire from somebody already. So for example, you could create jewelry for religious people. So that way you can create content that's religious. People who watch that content will then go to your website, and then they will understand, they will see the connection between, you've cultivated an audience of people who are interested in religion, who will then purchase a product that then enhances that feeling for them or makes them feel like they are always carrying that religion with them wherever they go. That's the best example. What you don't want to do is just go ahead and create random content showing off pieces of jewelry and then hope that people are going to come through and purchase. You want to create a reason for people to purchase. And that's the first way. The second way is you start to create an organic content. You start to create content and build your own audience. From that audience, you then find out what it is that they're looking to purchase. So, for example, if you're creating content about painting or you're drawing or whatever it is, people who watch that content have probably got one or two desires. The first one is they want to learn how to draw, they want to learn how to paint, or they want to know what tools and equipment they need to paint. So those are the two things that you should sell. One is either a course or some digital product that's going to help them do what you do. People watch your content because they enjoy seeing how you create that content. They enjoy seeing how you draw or how you make that thing, and they want to do it themselves. The other option is you sell them the tools to get to that result, which would be, in this case, painting equipment, drawing equipment, whatever it is. What you don't want to try and do is create content where you show off the drawings that you're drawing and how you're drawing them and teach people how to draw, but then try and sell them pictures that you have drawn, because that's the wrong audience. So you can see if I create content that's teaching people how to draw stuff and then I try and sell them a product that is of that drawing, they're not interested. They want to know how to draw. They're not interested in buying your paintings. So that's the first mistake most people make, and that's understanding the difference between selling what you want to sell and selling what people need or what people want. And you can have control over this by deciding on the audience that you're building. Cool. So how do we then actually now get down to it? How do we actually start to make these sales? How do we start to make money? Well, first thing is we need to nail organic content. And I would recommend you start with short form content. And this is TikTok and Instagram and YouTube Shorts. Find out whatever it is that you're selling and create content about that thing while keeping into consideration what I've just mentioned here. You don't need to show your face. You can always show the product. You can always do voice overlays, whatever. You don't need to show your face, but you want to start creating content. You then want to start pushing that traffic to your website. And we're going to use Shopify to build our website. So you can see here, if I come to my store, I've got a whole load of products built. And this is just a demonstration store for the sake of this video, but I'm going to add all the products to my store, and you can build your own Shopify store. You may already have one. You can see here I've got the title for my product, I've got a description for my product, I'm showing images for the product, I've got all sorts of bits and pieces here, I've got images down here, the pricing and all of that. So Shopify makes it very, very easy for you to create product pages. But I recommend that you create a single product to start off with. When you create that single product, then you're able to just start pushing traffic to one single product. You don't want to be creating, hundreds of different products straight from the outset. You want to see what people want and sell one product to start off with. And you would do it like this. And I recommend, I'll do another video on how to create, product descriptions that are going to actually sell. But then what we do, then people will come to the landing page and hopefully they'll purchase. But here's where we need to understand how to get people to buy. Because this is the really difficult part, and this is conversion rate optimization, and this is the biggest point where people fail in starting a new business, is they do not understand why people aren't buying from their store. You saw earlier on that roughly 1% of the people who visit your website should be purchasing, and that's the industry standard. Ideally, you want 2 or 3%. The higher the percentage of conversion, the higher the amount of sales you're going to make, the more money you're going to make. For example, in the example I gave earlier, I said 1% of the traffic converts at $50 per sale. If we have a 3% conversion for every 100 clicks, instead of making $50, we're now making $150. So we're making 3 times the amount of revenue just by increasing our conversion rate. So a lot of people skip over this step because they don't think it's going to make them more money. They focus too much on the top of funnel stuff, which is the marketing. So you can actually tie, if we just get rid of this, right, you can tie all of what I've just said here to this funnel. And this is basically the top of funnel, this is the middle of funnel, and this is the bottom of funnel. The top of funnel is the traffic, middle of funnel is people who come onto your website and either have visited before, and the bottom of funnel is people who are purchasing or purchased. And too many people focus on the top of funnel stuff. What you really should be doing is focusing on the middle of funnel, because this is what people are going to use to decide if they buy your product. The only thing that's going to make them want to buy is when they read your landing page. And if you don't have enough information on there and people have questions and concerns and there's a trust issue, they're not going to purchase. So how can we increase conversion rates? And what's the most important thing that we can do? Well, the first thing is understanding why people aren't purchasing, understanding what questions that they have. So let's say this is our product page here. We've built the product page, we've added some interesting text to it, we've got the images, and we think this is enough for our product to sell. But obviously, we don't know what the person's thinking when they come onto this website. They may be, they may have a whole host of questions about this product before they purchase. And you can see in this very small amount of text, I'm not really answering those questions. So that's the first thing. We need to answer people's questions and find out what questions that they have to then improve our landing page. The second thing we want to do is increase trust. We're going to do that by adding in reviews and testimonials. So the first most important thing is you want to start gathering reviews from your customers. You want to start understanding what it is, and you can even take comments you've had on social media. You can take those and turn those into reviews and basically add social proof and trust. Anything that you can do that's going to increase trust on your website is going to increase your conversion rates. So let's just take a look at this website, for example. You can see here we've got a simple product page. We've got a box of soaps. And you can come through here and you can select the different soaps. So somebody who comes onto this website may not know already what these different soaps are. So that's one thing. They've got questions about those soaps. They may have questions about how it affects their skin if they've got sensitive skin. So now you can see when I scroll through, they've got stuff about sustainability, they've got stuff about how it's handmade, but they haven't really answered the question of, is this good for sensitive skin? And that's like a question that could stop somebody from purchasing. But as a business owner, you may not know that that is a problem that you would have with your product page unless you directly talk to your customers or directly gather feedback from your customers. And I'm going to show you exactly how you can do that in a second. Cool. Let's go back to here. The next thing you want to do is gather information and also gather contact information. The more leads that you gather, and leads are emails. So the more emails that you gather, the more you can reach out to people, the more targeting you can do, and you can build what's known as an email newsletter. So this is an example of a newsletter that I've built. And you can see here that this newsletter is growing over time. And the way this is working is the more people who sign up for my product and the more people who visit my website, the more emails that I'm gathering. And there's a few ways that you can do this. The first way is you wait for them to check out. You wait for people to come to your website. Ignore the very crude drawing, but you see people who come to your website, they like your product, they click on the add to cart button, it takes them to the checkout form where they put in their name, email address and contact details, and then you send that information over to your newsletter. And then from there, they will then hopefully go ahead and purchase. The trouble with this is, if you remember from earlier on in the video, I said roughly about 5% of the people who land on your website will actually become a middle of funnel customer. That is someone who adds to cart. So 5% of people who land on your website will add to cart. So for every 100 people who visit your website, only 5 of them will give you their contact details. And then it's very hard to gather that information and then use that in an email newsletter. So how can we actually do this in a very, very simple way? Because we want to make sure that we're getting more leads. Why do we want to know how many leads we've got, and why do we want to get more leads? Well, the more information that we capture, the more marketing that we can do for free. So for example, if you're doing marketing on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok, you may have a video that gets 100,000 views. If it gets 100,000 views, you're going to get thousands of clicks to your website. Now, that video is a bit of a one-off. It's a bit of a spike. So the next time we do marketing, we may not get another 1,000 clicks to our website. We may only get 20. And we want to make sure that we've got consistent marketing in our business. And the way to do that is by building a newsletter. Because when we have these peaks and troughs, when somebody comes in, we get thousands of people visiting our website and we get a load of emails, we can still market to these people. So even though our videos aren't getting views, we are still able to market to these subscribers. We're still able to send emails out to these people. Awesome. So how can we actually do this? Because realistically, if we're gathering emails from here, we're only gathering 5% of the visitors have the opportunity to put in an email address. Now that's 5% of people who actually land on this page. We get a much lower number of people who actually put in their email address. So we're going to use a form like this, which we can add to our website, that will basically allow people to put in their email address, and at the same time, it will be able to answer people's questions, give them recommendations, increase trust, and hopefully increase our conversion rates. Cool, so we've got Shopify to build our website. Now what we're going to do is use another piece of software to build these chatbots. And you can see here I've done an example where somebody comes onto the website and they're curious about the refund policy. So they've asked this chatbot here, and by the way, this is just a demonstration playground, so this would be embedded onto the website, and I'll show you how that looks in a second. The chatbot's able to give them the information that they need instantly, any contact details that they need, and also gather their email address. So once they go ahead and gather their email address, if we just put it in here, and then we send that email through, then we've gathered that email address. You can see here in the lead section, we've now captured an additional lead that we can then download, and we can use that in our email marketing. So now every single person who comes onto our website, we are capturing their lead information. Awesome. So what does this look like on our website? Well, you can see here, this is the demonstration store that I built earlier, and this is the chatbot that I built. And if we go to this chatbot, we can ask it the same thing, what's the refund policy? And it's going to be able to give us the information by going onto our website, looking for the specific information from all of these different links, and then drafting out the refund policy. And you can see here we've got all the information about the refund policy. It's given us a link to the refund policy, and it's given us the contact information, while also allowing us to put in our details here, so we can gather lead information from that customer. So it's incredibly easy to build something like this. And it's going to do other things as well. So you remember on this store here, I said what's going to stop people from purchasing is they're going to have questions about your product. And if they've got questions about your product, then they're not going to purchase. So for example, they may need to know about the oatmeal and bergamot product. So what we can do is within ChatIQ, and I will leave the link for this software down below in the description, we can ask it So we've asked this about what does the oatmeal and bergamot soap do? Is it just a different scent? And if you're wondering how the chatbot's able to answer these questions, you can see obviously it's come back and said the soap not only offers a different scent, but also provides various benefits for the skin, combines fruity and sweet scent, blah, 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 blah. So it's able to answer specific questions about that product. And if you're wondering how it's able to do that, you can see here if we come to the data tab within the chatbot, it's got access to every single product on our website. So it's able to read every single link from our website and find specific answers for my questions based on my website. So basically what you do is when you build your chatbot, you create a data feed, and you can see here this is all of the data that the chatbot is accessing. And from this data, it can then interpret the user's question and use this data to provide an answer. So it's creating trust, it's building trust, and it's allowing us to increase our conversion rates for our business. Awesome. So that is like the basics on how I'd get set up making $100,000 a year if I had to start again. Just to recap, start creating organic content. It doesn't matter what content you create. It doesn't matter how you create it. It doesn't matter how many views you get. Right now, you just need to start creating content and getting used to creating content. Post that content out across all of the short form content channels. Doesn't need to show your face. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add a link to our bio. That link is going to push people to our product page. Our product page or website will be built using Shopify. That product page will be selling a product, which I've now deleted, will be selling a product that people want to purchase, not a product that we want to sell. From that, we're going to start making some sales and start making some traffic. The next thing that you're going to want to do is focus on increasing your conversion rate. And the way to increase your conversion rate is to gather feedback from your customers, gather feedback from the people who are visiting your website. So now when I come into the dashboard, if I come into the messages section here, you can see here, this is the question that person's already asked. So if this was on my website, I can see the chat history. I can see the conversations people are asking my chatbot. Here, somebody's asking, what does the oatmeal and bergamot soap do? Is it just a different scent? And that's telling me that there's not enough information on the website that's answering that person's question. So I can take this information and I can then update my website. Here's another question. How much conditioning oil do I put in my hair? Again, this is a question somebody has, and if they don't know the answer to this question, they may not purchase the product. The benefit is you've built a chatbot which is able to respond to these questions, and it's able to increase your conversion rates by dealing with that customer's question, and hopefully they'll now go ahead and purchase. But it's also useful for me because I now know that I should add this information to my website. Awesome. So if you want to get started, I will leave the link down below in the description. But the website is, if you go to chatiq.ai, you can get started for free. You've got a 7-day free trial. Click on this button here. It's going to go ahead and create an account for you. Put in your card details and start a free trial. It's not going to charge you. And then what you do is you come to your dashboard. We're going to come to your data feed, and what you can do is you can then scrape your entire website. So put in your URL, fetch the URLs from your website, and then follow the instructions to build your chatbot. I've got plenty of videos on this channel which teach you exactly how to do that. But if you've got any questions or any other videos you'd like to see, don't forget to let me know down below in the comments.